Hi, this is Michaela. Welcome to another one of my Dutch pour videos. Today I'm using this kind of charcoal base. It's actually a mix of all the colors and oxide black because I tried this before and it didn't really work the first time. There's the oxide black. My paints are very thin. They're mixed about 1-to-1 with water. I also am going to use some of that titanium white. This is Amsterdam copper. You can see the consistency a little better with the color. And this is Amsterdam bronze. The metallics are a tiny bit thicker than the bases. This is Winsor & Newton gold. Also, I forgot to say all the bases are Amsterdam paints, and this is Amsterdam Professional Series Carmine Red. Finally, this last color is Winsor & Newton Primary Magenta. Also, I do have a tad of Floetrol in the Winsor & Newton paints just because it makes them easier to mix. It probably also adds to the cell effect. So you see I got my base down. This is the blow dryer I'm using. I'm going to put it in my Amazon shop. It's kind of a really cool, larger blow dryer, so it blows out larger, but you can see it's not very powerful. So like I'm using it on the highest. It's much harder to spread the paint than the one I typically use for the base layer. But I just didn't have that blow dryer handy, so I do have to use a little bit more to get the coverage just because it won't spread it out super thin. But it has really great targeted control, and you'll see what I'm able to do when I start blowing out the sections of the pour with this blower. So just finishing getting the base on, you see how hard it was to move the paint over to the corners. Just use my fingers, and now I got to get some of the base on my sides. This is important for this particular pour. So starting with my first color, this is the Winsor & Newton Primary Magenta, and now the Carmine Red. I'm doing kind of a variation of the Chaos pour style Dutch pour, and this is the bronze. So obviously I'm going to do kind of a larger puddle of colors here, and then I'm going to blow the colors towards where I'm standing down over the canvas like you would in a chaos pour. Obviously the colors aren't laid in a chaotic way, and I'm just going to do one puddle at a time and just kind of layer them. Hard to describe, so you'll see what I'm talking about as I go on. Adding just a ring of white around the colors now. I want to keep the colors bright. I don't want that gray base going over the colors. Forgot to mention, so this here is a second white. It's Artist Loft mixed with some Floetrol, some pouring medium, and water. I had it left over from some experiments I was doing, and I just decided to put a drop in the middle to see if that would create more cells, and I did get some really cool effects, especially later in the pour when I used more of it. I'm adding kind of a small ring or area over the top here. I'm going to blow that over the colors along with the white, so I just really don't want any gray going over the colors. Using the torch very briefly, this is not sped up, just got rid of the air bubbles, and I'm blowing it down. So you can see I'm really trying to aim very precisely to blow these colors over, and that's really pretty, like super pretty the way that blew out. So I'll let you enjoy watching this for a bit with some music, and I'll be back soon. back. I started to run into some trouble right there. There's a big puddle of paint, so I felt like I had to take some paint off. So in reality, this looks a lot messier, and the camera is showing it brighter than it is. So that's why it looks great actually when I see it now, but I felt like I had to change some things. So now, because I took some paint off, I was able to blow that down. And a ton of white cells popped up. Took away a little drip there. But look at these cell effects. That Artist Off White with the Floetrol and the pouring medium created a ton of big cells. So I kind of mess around with the details a bit here. And I try to use the blow dryer to spread that white out a little more. And basically I was just feeling like the left side of the canvas has a lot more white than the right, and it just didn't look balanced, especially because the camera is picking the white up more. So in reality, the right side of the canvas looked very muted. So I'm going to blow out the top now, and I'm going to let you watch the rest again with some music, but you'll see how I try to fix the right side. I'm not sure it was ultimately better, but you know, that's fluid art. So enjoy this part of the process. I'll be back when it's done. Okay, here it is dry, and you can see the difference between the black and the dark gray base here. I did feel like some areas, especially the top, colors weren't really popping as much as I wanted. So I'm using this Princeton liner brush to add some fine white lines. Key to embellishing is using a really good liner brush like this. I've tried with cheaper brushes and the paint doesn't go on smoothly. I'm using the same titanium white by Amsterdam that I used in the pour. And I'm also going to use my fingers to just add a little bit of color in some areas and kind of blend it in. So I'll be back again when this part's over. Finally finished. So those darker areas, I did add some of the kind of that charcoal gray base, get like a cleaner look with more contrast. And I always like to show my pieces unvarnished without reflection and just sort of a realistic representation of how they dry. You can also see how I kind of broke up the white lines that I added. I did varnish this one, so here it is, and it's just popping and has so much movement and depth. I really love the subtle contrast between the two bases and just the overall look. I'm super happy with this one. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you some ideas and was inspiring. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.